Right now, the device in your pocket, the one you just touched to open this video, is covered in more bacteria than the average public toilet seat. Your phone has 10 times more bacteria than a toilet seat. You press it against your face. You sleep next to it. You take it everywhere, including places you'd never take a toilet seat in public. But here's what nobody is talking about. There is one object inside your home, something you use every single day without a second thought, that makes your phone look like a freshly sterilized surgical instrument. Scientists have measured it. The numbers are extraordinary. And you will not guess what this object is before I tell you. 7 gross facts, 1 video. You have about 10 minutes to hear facts that will permanently change how you see the surfaces you trust. Watch until the final minute. The last revelation is the one that will actually change your behavior tonight. In these next minutes, you'll discover that danger hides where you least expect it. The bathroom you're afraid of, probably the cleanest room in your house. The kitchen you feel completely comfortable in. That's where the real story begins. Your smartphone is with you everywhere. It wakes you up in the morning. You check it during meals. You scroll through it right before closing your eyes at night. And be honest, a lot of people bring it into the bathroom. That last habit is exactly why what I'm about to tell you shouldn't be surprising, but it still is. The average phone carries 17,000 bacterial gene copies per square inch, according to research from the University of Arizona. That's roughly 10 times the bacterial concentration found on the average toilet seat. Let that sit for a moment. 10 times. On the device you press against your cheek to make phone calls. The bacteria found on typical smartphones include Streptococcus, Staphylococcus aureus, which can cause skin infections and food poisoning, and in multiple studies, detectable traces of E. coli. The reason is structural. Your phone generates heat, which bacteria love. It lives in warm, dark pockets and bags. It rarely sees soap or disinfectant. It stays warm. It stays wet. It never gets cleaned. Most people clean their toilets every week. Almost nobody cleans their phone. And if you're thinking, well, I wash my hands, remember, you pick the phone back up immediately after. It's the one surface that recontaminates you constantly. The phone is the opening act of this story, but the toilet seat it's being compared to, that comparison is about to flip your entire understanding of where bacteria actually lives. Here's where the story takes its first strange turn. The toilet seat, the object humans have feared and avoided with paper covers and careful hovering since the dawn of public restrooms, is actually not that dirty. Public health studies consistently show that toilet seats have relatively low bacterial counts because they're smooth, non-porous, and regularly disinfected. Dr. Charles Gerber, a microbiologist at the University of Arizona who has spent his career mapping bacteria in everyday environments, found that the toilet seat averages around 50 bacteria per square inch. 50 bacteria per square inch. 50, that sounds alarming until you understand the comparisons. Your kitchen cutting board has approximately 200 times more fecal bacteria than your toilet seat. If that just rewired something in your brain, hit like and subscribe to keep uncovering the hidden science of your everyday world, because every fact in this video gets more disturbing from here. We have been conditioned by decades of advertising and cultural anxiety to see the bathroom as the danger zone in our homes. The data says otherwise. The real microbial threats are hiding in the spaces we feel completely at ease. And if your bathroom holds any real danger at all, it's not the toilet. It's 2 feet away from it, sitting in a cup on your counter, and you put it in your mouth every single morning. Every morning, you pick up a small plastic object, put it in your mouth, and scrub your teeth for 2 minutes. And depending on where you keep it in your bathroom, you may be doing something that would genuinely disturb your dentist. Your toothbrush is likely covered in fecal bacteria right now. A study conducted by researchers at Quinnipiac University found that in shared bathrooms, 60% of toothbrushes tested positive for fecal coliform bacteria. And in 80% of those cases, the contamination came from someone else's stool, not the owner's. The mechanism is something microbiologists call a toilet plume. Every time you flush a toilet with the lid open, it releases a fine aerosol mist, microscopic water droplets containing whatever was in the bowl. That can travel up to 6 feet in every direction. 6 feet, straight to your toothbrush on the counter. The solution is simple. Close the lid before flushing and store your toothbrush inside a cabinet or with a cap. But most bathrooms have toothbrushes sitting exposed on the counter or in open cups, completely unprotected. Cleanliness and order are not matters of instinct. They are matters of education, and like most great things, you must cultivate a taste for them. The irony of trying to clean your teeth with a contaminated brush is not lost on the researchers who study this. And what's coming next? It's something you carry with you constantly, and it's been passing through more hands than you want to think about. Think about the last time you handled cash. You took a bill from someone's hand, maybe tucked it into your pocket, then at some point touched your face or picked up food without washing your hands first. That's normal human behavior. It's also why researchers at New York University found that a single dollar bill can carry over 3,000 different types of bacteria. 3,000 bacterial types, $1. The most common species found on US currency include Propionibacterium acnes, a skin bacteria, and Staphylococcus epidermidis, which can cause serious infections in people with compromised immune systems. A 2002 study published in the Southern Medical Journal found traces of cocaine on 79% of bills in active circulation, which tells you something about the remarkable variety of environments your money visits before it reaches your hand. And it's not just paper. A study in the United Kingdom found that 8% of credit and debit cards tested positive for dangerously elevated bacterial counts. The technology of payment evolved. The contamination stayed. Money changes thousands of hands before it reaches yours. The bill you received as change at the grocery store might have passed through a hospital, a kitchen, a farm, and a dozen other environments in the last 24 hours. Cash feels clean because it feels familiar. It is neither. But if money makes you uneasy, wait until I tell you what's floating in the drink they just placed in front of you at a restaurant. The next time a server places a cold drink in front of you at a restaurant, consider what's in that ice. In 2013, a school science fair project made national news for the wrong reasons. A 12-year-old student collected ice samples from fast food restaurants and toilet water samples from the same locations, then had them tested at a laboratory. The ice contained more bacteria than the toilet water. The media initially dismissed the story because the researcher was a child. Then professional microbiologists ran independent tests. The results held. The problem is structural and largely invisible. Commercial ice machines are cleaned infrequently, sometimes with months between cleanings, and the warm, moist interior of the machine creates the perfect environment for biofilm to develop. Biofilm is a sticky, organized community of bacteria that adheres to surfaces and is highly resistant to standard cleaning methods. Types of bacteria found in ice machine studies include coliform bacteria and organisms associated with fecal contamination. The bacteria in restaurant ice may outnumber anything in your bathroom. This doesn't mean every single ice machine is contaminated. Some restaurants are meticulous, but the pattern appears consistently enough across studies that food safety guidelines have been issued that most operators quietly deprioritize clean glass, dirty ice inside. And if that's living in your ice water, brace yourself for what you touch before you even place your order. Restaurant menus, laminated, glossy, handed from table to table, touched by dozens of hands every single service, wiped down, if at all, with a damp cloth between customers. A study published in the Journal of Medical Microbiology found that menus can harbor up to 185,000 bacteria per square centimeter. The toilet seat you've been comparing everything to, approximately 50 bacteria per square inch. A restaurant menu can be over 1,000 times dirtier than a toilet seat. The lamination that makes menus look durable and premium creates a perfect smooth surface for biofilm. The same bacterial community we saw colonizing the ice machines. The bacteria doesn't just rest on top of the surface. It embeds into micro scratches and establishes colonies. And the behavioral pattern around menus makes transfer almost inevitable. You pick it up, browse, set it down, pick it up again, maybe hand it to someone else at the table. All of this before food arrives, and before most people consider washing their hands. Hands to menu, menu to hands, hands to mouth. Repeat every meal. The bacterial species most commonly found on restaurant menus include Klebsiella pneumoniae and Pseudomonas aeruginosa. both capable of causing respiratory and gastrointestinal illness. Most restaurants have no established sanitation protocol for menus between customers, and the surface where you spend 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. It might actually give everything on this list some serious competition. Dr. Charles Gerber, the same microbiologist who measured the toilet seat's bacterial count, turned his attention to offices. His findings became a landmark in occupational hygiene research. The average office desk contains 400 times more bacteria than a toilet seat. 400 times. On the surface where you eat your lunch, where you rest your forearms for 8 hours a day, where you type, click, and set your coffee cup. The reason is consistent with everything we've seen. Toilets get cleaned, desks don't. In most office environments, cleaning crews address floors and communal areas while leaving individual workspaces completely untouched. Partly for privacy, partly for practicality. Gerber's research found that the desk phone receiver holds the single highest bacterial concentration of any office object, averaging 25,000 bacteria per square inch. 25,000 bacteria desk phone right now. Your keyboard comes in second at around 3,000 per square inch. Your mouse, your pen cup, the edge of your monitor, all essentially uncleaned for months or years at a stretch. We are all slaves of our habits without knowing it. We clean the spaces we're taught to fear and ignore everything else. And if the desk you work at is already this colonized, the surface where you sleep, where you breathe for 8 hours every night, is going to disturb you on a completely different level. Everything I've told you so far is preparation for what's coming. You sleep for roughly a third of your life. Your face is pressed against a pillow for those hours, breathing in whatever lives there. Here is what science says about a pillow that's been used for 2 years without replacement. A 2-year-old pillow can be 10% dead dust mites by weight. Dust mites are microscopic arachnids, relatives of spiders, that feed on dead skin cells. Your body sheds between 30,000 and 40,000 dead skin cells per hour, and a significant portion of those land exactly where you sleep. The pillow is an all-you-can-eat buffet that never closes. Dust mites don't just eat and leave. They reproduce, and they produce waste that you breathe in continuously through the night. A study published in the British Medical Journal found that pillows can harbor up to 16 species of fungus after just 18 months of use. Aspergillus fumigatus, one of the species commonly found, can cause serious respiratory complications in people with compromised immune systems. The thing your face rests against every night has never been clean. Not once. And the fungi aren't the most disturbing residents. That would be Demodex, a microscopic mite that lives in human hair follicles and eyelash roots, feeding on facial oils. Most people sleep on the same pillow for 3 to 5 years. Wash your pillowcase every week. Replace the pillow itself every year to 2 years. Now, everything I've shown you has been preparation. The phone, the money, the ice, the menu, the desk, this pillow. None of it comes close to what I'm about to reveal. The object I've been hinting at since the very first seconds of this video. The thing that outranks your phone, your toothbrush, your restaurant menu, your office desk, and your pillow combined, is sitting in your kitchen sink right now. It is the kitchen sponge. The sponge, 2017 German study published in Scientific Reports, used DNA sequencing to analyze 14 used kitchen sponges in extraordinary detail. They found over 360 different species of bacteria per sponge, with bacterial concentrations reaching up to 45 billion organisms per square centimeter. To put that in perspective, that is higher than the bacterial density found in human feces. Your kitchen sponge has more bacteria per centimeter than human feces. Sponge is the perfect bacterial ecosystem. It is warm, porous, consistently moist, and regularly enriched with food particles from every dish you wash. Every time you wipe a counter or scrub a plate, you are not removing bacteria. You are redistributing it across your entire kitchen. And the popular advice about microwaving your sponge to kill bacteria. The same German study found that microwaving a sponge primarily kills the weaker bacterial strains, leaving the most dangerous, resilient species alive and now dominant, with less competition than before. Microwaved sponge more dangerous than before. 72% of sponges in that study contained E. coli, This is the scientifically confirmed dirtiest object in the average home. Not the toilet, not the bathroom, the kitchen. The greatest danger always hides where you feel most comfortable. If this changed how you see your kitchen, share this video with as many people as you possibly can. This truth needs to reach everyone you know. And tell me in the comments, throwing IT out or keeping IT? Are you replacing your sponge tonight? Knowledge without action is just anxiety with extra steps. So here is what you actually do with everything you just learned. Replace your kitchen sponge every 1 to 2 weeks. Better yet, switch to a silicone scrubber or a dishcloth you can run through a hot washing machine cycle regularly. Clean your phone screen every day. Antibacterial screen-safe wipes take 5 seconds and eliminate over 99% of surface bacteria. Close the toilet lid before flushing and store your toothbrush inside a cabinet away from the splash zone. Wash your hands after handling cash before touching your face or food. When restaurants offer QR code menus, use them. When you handle a physical menu, sanitize before eating. Disinfect your desk and keyboard with a wipe once a week. It takes 90 seconds. Wash your pillowcase weekly and replace your pillow every year to 2 years. 1. Replace kitchen sponge every 2 weeks. 2. Wipe your phone screen daily. 3. Close toilet lid before flushing. 4. Disinfect desk and keyboard weekly. 5. Replace pillow every 1-2 years. These aren't extreme measures. They're small recalibrations based on where the actual risk lies. Not where you fear, but where you trust. You've been scrubbing the surfaces you were taught to fear while ignoring the ones that matter. That changes today. The greatest obstacle to discovery is not ignorance. It is the illusion of knowledge. Comment germ aware if you're seeing your home differently right now. Because you're among the very few people who actually know where the invisible danger is hiding. Every surface you trust is a conversation with billions of invisible things. What this video has really been about isn't grossness. It's the gap between perception and reality. We scrub our bathrooms and avoid public toilets, while the kitchen sponge sits in the sink like it's harmless, denser with bacteria than anything you've been conditioned to fear. That's the answer to the question I posed at the beginning. The one object in your home that makes your phone look sterile. The thing you touch every day without a thought. It was never the bathroom. It was never the toilet. It was the sponge by your sink, patiently accumulating 45 billion organisms per square centimeter, while you worried about the wrong room entirely. Fear less, clean more wisely. The phone, the toothbrush, the money, the ice, the menu, the desk, the pillow, the sponge. The pattern across all of them is the same. The ordinary is never as innocent as it appears. The familiar is exactly where the real story lies. If you made it this far, comment germ aware. Because you are now among the very few people who know where the actual danger is hiding in plain sight. The truth is stranger than anything you could make up.